In this section of the course, we are going to take a look at how to actually look for cross-site scripting and kind of give you an idea and examples of the different filter evasions, the different contexts, and just what are some things to look for when hunting for cross-site scripting. So let's jump into our basic example. In this case, we have a form that asks us our name. For these examples, don't get too caught up in the UI or what the web page looks like, but instead focus on how to actually look for cross-site scripting and how to follow your input. So in this case, we're going to just type in test123. One of the things that I do is I put in a very unique string that is unique to me, whether it's test123, nahamsec123, something that I know it's unique, that's not going to be found in the web page. So we're going to press enter. It's going to come back here and it's going to say, hey, your test123, that was the input you gave me. Hello. And as we can see right now, it is taking that value and it's putting it within a parameter right here called name, and it's showing that test123, the value that we gave it, is assigned to it. With cross-site scripting, what you want to do is you want to look for anywhere that you can inject a input, and that's input in this case was our name, and you want to also track where it goes. So one of the things that I do is anytime I see some sort of a parameter up here is where I put a test123. If there's a box, I put test123, and then what I do is I go to my div tools, and you can do that by going to inspect, and then it opens up this div tool right here, and you can just quickly search for test123. Let's do that one more time, test123, and see all the different places that it's showing up in. In this case, it is just showing up inside of a div within a P right here, and there is nothing specific here we have to do. So the next step here would be to just add HTML. So what I do usually here is just basic HTML of adding an underline and nothing else. And if that presents itself in a form of rendered HTML, in this case, you can see that it's actually taken this underline right here and it's made it test123. And I just can see that there is a HTML injection here. Then I can try and do something like a script, alert, and script again. And in this case, we got an alert that was empty and our cross-site scripting worked. There are a few things that I want to explain. A lot of people are familiar with this payload, or what we call a payload, and then a similar one that is image source equals X, on error equals alert. We can do alert 1 in here. The reason why this works is we are calling for JavaScript. The most common way to include JavaScript is to do something like this, what we did earlier, which is the script tag, and we just call our function, which is an alert. We tell it, hey, we want you to run a script, and we want you to call a function alert and alert with the number 1, and that's what we got an alert 1 for. You can also do the same thing with the image tag, or actually any HTML tag, and call what we call an event handler. So right here it says, hey, when an event happens, a specific event happens here that we're going to call for this one is on error, I want you to do an alert. So if there's an error in our image source because the letter X is not valid, then I want you to alert me and say alert 1. You can do the same thing with on mouse over. If we spell it right, actually it would work. So let's go right there. If we go over it, it pops up. So these are what we call an event handler. Sometimes you will see companies may actually filter for event handlers. Sometimes they may actually do filtering for the HTML tags, but I wanted to talk about the different ways that you can call JavaScript, and that is why JavaScript works, and that's how cross-site scripting is created. You just tell it, hey, I want you to execute JavaScript within an event that is right here. So that event could be on mouse over, on scroll. There's a list of them. I highly recommend looking into them, but I kind of want to explain what those are. The alert right here isn't what causes an XSS. It's just a function to just say, hey, we are showing a functionality of JavaScript actually working. You can actually have it also write stuff. So I can do document write 1. So if I cross over it, it's going to write 1 for us. Those don't really matter. We just use alert 1 as an example to show, hey, I was able to successfully execute JavaScript within this program. Now let's take a look at a second example. In this example, we have something similar again. Keep in mind, again, these UIs don't matter. We just created them to have a visual for you. But what you're going to do here is click and type in test123 again. And now we can see that there is no parameter here. And that is becoming visible to us right here. And if we do the same thing and open up our console and do test123, we can see that it is posting that here as well. In a later section, we're going to talk about CSRF, but if you're familiar with CSRF, you can actually leverage CSRF to have this work. What I want to show you here is that just because you don't see a parameter here, it doesn't mean that you can't look for exploits. But in this case, what you want to look at is the post request that is being sent. A lot of times you may just give it one input, but the application may have multiple parameters in the post body right here at the bottom that you also want to test for. Similarly to our last one, we can do the same thing. We can send that request and we can see that it is actually rendering our HTML. We can refresh it and we can change it right here to an exploit event. This again is just an example of showing, hey, the parameters could be hidden anywhere. It could be a post request, it could be a put request, it could be anything that is actually taking our input and going out to the web server. So keep in mind before we go to our next example, if there is a param here, test123, we want to test it out, param2, param3. If there are any parameters here, what you want to do is you want to make sure you test them all out and see if these test123s reflect anywhere else on the screen or in your source, and test them one by one for cross-site scripting.